Hi there, General Math students. This video is going to show you the instructions to create a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet which will de-seasonalise data. Of course, this is linked to our Criterion 3 investigation into climate change in and around the Burnie area. So go ahead and open a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet and I'll show you what to do. So we're going to be collecting data for at least 3 years. Most likely we'll do the last 3 years. Of course, that may change depending on the data that's available through the Bureau of Meteorology website. But I'll just use the last 3 years for the purposes of this demonstration. Now, we're going to be doing yearly data, so I want to put the months across the top here. So January, February. Now I'm going to go right through to December, but I don't need to type them all out. If I select those 2 months and then drag across until the white arrow becomes a little black arrow, the white cross becomes a little black cross, then I can click and drag that along. You can see that it's going to fill in with the rest of the months of the year there. Okay, now I just need to put in some random data here for the purposes of this demonstration. But of course you'll be collecting some real data off the Bureau of Meteorology website when you do this. So you may have that data already. You can paste that into this spot like this. And use that data, but I'll just put this randomized stuff here. It really doesn't matter what my numbers are. It's just about having something to show you for demonstration purposes. Okay, one more row to go here. And I might even just grab a few of these and just pop them there. There we go. I've got some data there. So you guys will fill that in with real life data. Okay, now we want to calculate the yearly average as part of de-seasonalising our data. So I'm going to write yearly average here. And let's do a calculation so that we can find the yearly average for each year. So Microsoft Excel understands certain commands. We're going to put in a formula here. So we need to push equals, and so the equal symbol comes up here. And then we're going to tell Microsoft Excel that we want an average. So let's type in average, and it will average the cells that we select. So we go bracket. Now we want to average from B2 right through. So if I click that and drag across right through to M2, so I'm going to select those, close the bracket and push enter, and it finds that average. So if we look at that cell there, we just have equals average and then brackets B2 colon M2. Now you could type that in as well, or you can click and drag. Now we want to find out the average for 2017 and 18 as well. All I need to do is fill down with that one and it will do that for us. So if I click in the corner there with the black cross and click and drag that down, and it works out the averages for the next 2 years as well. Okay, very good. So the next step involves taking each of these original actual pieces of data, or these scores rather, and dividing them by our yearly average. So we want to divide B2 by N2, and then C2 by N2, and so forth. So we're going to get Excel to do that for us. So let's grab these labels here and put them down here. Okay. Now in this cell, we want this to equal this number divided by the average. Okay. Now that's all well and good, but we also want to do February, March, April, all the rest of those divided by that average. And to stop that from shifting across, if you know what I mean, if you know much about Excel, to the wrong cells to divide by, okay, we need to change this to $N $2, like that. And now they'll all divide by the correct one. So if I grab that now, back here, and click and drag that across, it will work all of those out. So let's go ahead now and do the same thing for these ones. This is going to be equals, we want this one here, and we divide it by $N. Oops, actually, before I do that, I'll click this cell here and I'll fill in the dollars around that. That's a better way to do it. So $, click that, then click him, get the black cross and drag over. And the last one here. So you can see that the mechanics, we've practiced this in real life, doing this by hand. The mechanics of how this works are the same. We calculate that yearly average and then divide each of the real pieces of data by that yearly average to get the next bit of the table. Okay, and Microsoft is doing the working out for us. Righto. The next thing is to get the index for each of these. So we know that the index, and in this case, we'll call it a yearly index. Beg your pardon, not a yearly index, monthly, because it's for each month, right? Monthly index. And I might just go up here and click and just make that a bit wider at this stage so that the word monthly index fits in properly. So that here is the average of these three cells, and then this next one is the average of these three cells, and so forth. You might know what to do now. Equals average, and then I'm going to go bracket, I'm going to click and grab those and push enter. I forgot to put a bracket on the end, but the Excel's done it for me. That's how clever it is. And then if we click and drag, it'll do that properly because we haven't put dollar symbols in there. It will go across to the next column. It won't fix to that column. That's what those dollar symbols are there for, is to fix it to that and not shift across to the next one every time you go. You might know what I'm talking about, but if you don't worry. Just keep following the instructions. Okay, so the final bit is to get the de-seasonalise data. And I'm going to put a little title here just to show that. I think you should do this too. Just here. So we're going to put that down in here. So I'll grab these years again and put them down here. And we're going to get our final de-seasonalise data in this spot. So to get the de-seasonalise data, we want to take the original data, this one, and divide it by our monthly index, this one. Righto. So I'll click on this cell. So this equals the original data, the first one, B2, divided by B10. In this case, rather B9, sorry. And we push enter, and it works it out for us. Now we can go ahead and fill that across, and that will work properly. We don't want dollar symbols there. That'll fill across. Now if we check this one, see how it's C2, C2, the original one, divided by C9. And then if we check this one, it's D2, D2 divided by D9. So dividing by the correct index each time. All right, now this one equals, and in this case, it's going to be this divided by the index here. And then we fill that across. And then the last one equals the original divided by the index, and we fill across. And there we have our de-seasonalised data. So that's really it in a nutshell. There are other things that we can do, and one might be to round this to a fewer decimal places, so you can select it all and right click and go to format cells, and we can get a number decimal places. You might just want to go to 2 or 3. I'll just do 2 for fun here, and you can see it rounds it all to 2 decimal places for us. We could get a chart of this data. That's one thing you're going to do, so I'll show you that really quickly. Now this is a little fiddly. I haven't found a better way to do this, but what I've found is that to get the charts, actually you're going to need to do the actual and the de-seasonalised on the same chart. So I'll start with this one, right, the actual data. I'm just going to grab that. Now what I found is that we need to put it all into one row. So I'm going to grab that, and then this, and then this. Go across. So I'm putting all 3 years in one row. If you find a better way to do that, you tell me. But see how I've got them all there. Now I'm just going to get them all together, and then I go insert, and we're going to do a line graph. There's lots of different ones to choose from. I'll just grab this one for now, and we have the chart showing our data there. Now, of course, I just made those numbers up at random, and this is looking like a random pattern. So hopefully your data on rainfall and temperature looks more seasonal than this. And you can go around and change the chart title and put some axes labels on there, and then get a chart on the same chart, or a graph on the same chart of the de-seasonalised data, and so forth. So that's what you've got to do, guys. So go ahead now, go to the Bureau of Meteorology website if you haven't already, and get that data so that you can de-seasonalise it. And yeah, we'll proceed with this investigation. Thanks for watching.